My name is Captain Olimar. While traveling through space, my ship was struck by a meteor. I must have blacked out, and I woke on the surface of a weird planet. With so many parts lost, the skeletal hull of my beloved dolphin is a painful sight. The engine is gone. I'm stranded. To make matters worse, my atmospheric sensors indicate this planet's environment contains high levels of poisonous oxygen. My life support system can function for only 30 days. If I can't repair the dolphin by then, no. Better not think about it. I must find the missing ship parts. Hello everybody, my name is Rolak, and welcome to my newest Let's Play, Pikmin. Now, there is a lot to explain about this game, but we will be getting into it shortly if I can find the there it is. A strange thing has appeared before me. I had barely begun my search when it reared up as it were waiting for me. It then dropped a single seed. What is it? Is it alive? Is it a machine? It resembles a vegetable on my home planet that we call an onion. I should call this an onion too. And from this onion, a single seed shall sprout. And from this single seed, a new generation will begin. The seed that the onion dropped took root in the soil and now has produced an adorable little sprout. This sprout emits a strange light, and it sways back and forth without benefit of wind. I cannot help but think it is calling to me. I am compelled. I must approach it and press A. Just by pressing A, go ahead and pluck our very first Pikmin. Extraordinary! When I plucked the sprout, it turned out to be a living creature, not a plant. Picking has done no visible damage. It just stands there, staring at me. Its shape is similar to the Pick brand carrots I love so much. I believe I should call it a Pikmin. Here I am, stranded on a toxic planet, fighting to survive, and yet I am intrigued. I must research this fascinating creature. I shall try to grab it with A and then throw it in the direction I point, and I will call it to my side with B. Perhaps it will react to C and pressing down on the D-pad while pointing as well. The following controls appear to allow me several viewpoints. Z rotates the camera behind, left to right can zoom, up change the perspective. I must survive. I need to familiarize myself with these controls and surroundings. So yes, this is practically the tutorial. Pretty self-explanatory. Left and right on the D-pad can zoom out the camera to very close, from distance, and from very far away. Pressing up will change it from an overhead look to a more behind the shoulders look. And like you said, pressing A will allow you to hold onto a Pikmin, and releasing A will throw it in that direction. Now, since this is the new play control version that is for the Wii, and not the GameCube version, you can actually throw the Pikmin very far. The maximum... Oh. Huh? What does this Pikmin think of me? I must observe its reactions. The more things I try, the more reactions I can catalog. I shall attempt to grab it and throw with A... Yeah, okay. Alright, it's just... yeah. Tutorial and stuff. Yes, pressing B, once we throw a Pikmin, pressing B will allow it to call it back to us. And pressing C will disband the Pikmin altogether, dividing it into a separate group. Now then, depending on how far you want to throw it, depends on where the 4 segments of the pointer descend upon. If you go any further, the pointer will extend, but the distance of where the Pikmin will land in that area. You can throw it a lot farther than you can in the Wii version than you can in the GameCube version. And, of course, Z from behind centers the camera behind Olimar. Now then, damn it. We want to throw the Pikmin onto this. This here is a pellet posy. And pellets are the main ways of reproducing Pikmin, or at least the most standard of ways to do so. Astonishing! The onion has sown more seeds. The small red pellet the Pikmin harvested after cutting down a flower appears to be some type of food that can propagate more Pikmin. The onion seems to be a sort of incubator. Needless to say, I must study this strange life form more. So yes, by putting materials from the outside into the onion, more Pikmin will be sprouted. You might be wondering why it says 1, however there are 2 that have spawned out. Well, this only applies to 1 pellets. But if you return a pellet to the same color to the onion, of the 1 type, it will sprout 2. Very, very handy. And I don't believe there's any more ones around the area, so we'll have to wait for these guys to sprout up. Like so. Simply pressing A. If you continue to mash A in the area, you'll be able to pluck whatever seeds are still dormant. The camera likes to be a bit finicky over here. Oh, there was that one over here. Oh well. Now we'll go ahead and grab this 5 pellet. Now, despite what the mechanics are for the 1 pellets being producing 2, if you bring it back to the correct colored onion, 5 pellets, any other pellet will only produce that number of Pikmin on the number. I feel like it would be a bit of a balancing issue if you just sprout 10 Pikmin from a single 5 pellet. So I'm assuming that's why they chose to do it like that. That, or it's just an inconsistency. I think the game itself states that if you return a pellet of the same color to the onion, it will always say that it'll produce more. But I think that only applies for the 1 pellets. Certain objects that can be carried can be carried by more than 1 Pikmin. If you manage to get more than like double the amount of Pikmin to carry the thing, it'll most likely go back at the fastest pace. But seeing as these Pikmin are still in their leaf forms, they are going to be going in the slowest form possible. There's also a chance pressing down on the D-pad allows them to move in a direction of you pointing. Now, if I get them to do it... Of course, it never happens when you want it to happen. Leaf Pikmin have a sort of tendency to trip. Very annoying, and will probably cause more delays, if anything. And there's this thing here. It obviously has the number 10 on it, so we need 10 Pikmin to push it. And with the 1 Pikmin just watching me. And that's one of many puzzles done. The Pikmin are as curious as children. They form groups to perform tasks that would be impossible for an individual. A glimmer of hope has begun to shine in my heart. If I can make use of their skills, perhaps I can fix my ship. I shall sum up all I've learned about Pikmin conduct. Virtually press A, yep. Press A to grab Pikmin, yep. This is all just standard stuff. I shall record this on my computer and choose to access it with plus. So yes, by pressing plus, we'll bring up what it's supposed to be the map, but we don't have that yet. And going over to the right will indicate what you can do with all the different controls. Very, very handy in case you ever, forget. And over here... Amazing! There's no mistaking it. My ship's engine rests before my very eyes. By a stroke of pure luck, I've already stumbled upon the most important piece of my damaged craft. Fate has smiled upon me, but how will I get it back to the dolphin? Well, we could obviously use the Pikmin. However, it's going to require a whopping 20. And since we don't have 20 just yet, we're going to have to cultivate more numbers. And of course, some of them fall down. Alright, there we go. Alright, now we got quite a bit of pellets over here, so we'll go ahead and grab that one over there, that one over there, and we'll grab all of these. And that is pretty much the extent of what we can do in this first day. Pikmin is divided into 30 days, obviously indicated by the time limit that this game has. I cannot for the life of me remember how long each day is, because it's not really saying anywhere on the wiki, which is kind of annoying. But it should be... Oh, there's a pellet over there as well. Okay, I forgot about that one. But they do last approximately... Normally they last a bit longer. I'm not too sure exactly if it's the exact number, but I'll figure it out eventually. And might as well get the maximum amount of Pikmin we can get by getting this pellet just over here. There we go. Alright. Now you might be wondering what these 3 numbers down here are. Well, go over it simply. This one right here indicates how many Pikmin are in your party at the time. This indicates how many Pikmin are in the field at the time, and this is the total amount of Pikmin. Total. As you can imagine. Yes. When I add Pikmin to my group, they become filled with excitement and flush bright color. Sometimes they... Okay, cool. So yes, just by mashing A continuously, you can pretty much pluck as many Pikmin as you can. And there we go. Alright. The camera's being a bit finicky. The camera's always a bit finicky when you're inside the onion after plucking. If you just leave the area, it should be reverted back to normal. Alright, and I do believe that is the maximum amount of Pikmin you can sprout on the first day, being 25. So, let us go ahead and... If you press A next to a ship part, Dolphin's main engine. It was pure luck that I found this piece first. For this, I can at least lift off. Go ahead and swarm them all over. And there we go. It is going to be a tad bit slow, but that's to be expected with the status of the current Pikmin. And in fact, if we actually go over to the Dolphin, I've recovered 0 out of 30 ship parts. Just one more part will increase the Dolphin's capabilities. Continuously returning to the Dolphin and checking up on the status will update you on how many parts you need to advance the game, to say the least. With gathering ship parts, you're able to expand your ship's capabilities, and thus will allow you to unlock more levels. Very simple. I should also point out something that's important. Wherever the pointer is, this was only for the Wii version, I believe. Wherever the pointer is, Olimar will face in that direction. So if you press Z, it will not direct the camera in. It will only direct the camera the direction that Olimar is facing. Simple camera controls, but with the pointer it could be a bit annoying. And with that, we have recovered our first ship part. Oh, glorious. With the help of these Pikmin, I've taken a huge step back towards home. My ship can once again lift off. The glimmer of hope is beginning to burn more brightly. But what has become of the remaining parts? That search starts tomorrow. One day since impact. I have somehow managed to launch the Dolphin, but I was surprised to see the onion lift off of me. Perhaps the Pikmin cannot survive overnight on the planet's surface, or have they merely decided to join me for other reasons? Either way, it seems they will help me again tomorrow. The Dolphin is missing 29 parts. If I can't recover them all, I may never return home to my family on planet Hocotate. Analysis shows life support system will function for only 29 more days. How can I repair my Dolphin in such a short time? A dense forest is visible on the surface below. As it holds the keys to my survival, I'll name it the Forest of Hope. I'll explore it tomorrow. At the end of each day, you'll be given a summary of the Pikmin population. It'll show a little graph of how much Pikmin have been grown, as well as indicate the proper numbers, such as Pikmin that were sprouted, Pikmin lost in battle, and Pikmin left behind. It was impossible to lose Pikmin to be left behind today. But it was possible to get less than 25 Pikmin if you missed a few pellets here and there. But it also indicates how much Pikmin are in the onions, how many ship parts we have, parts remaining, and days remaining. All very simple stuff. And we're able to save, which we will. And that concludes day 1. Which is how we'll be dividing up the episodes. Because there is it's kind of silly to just cut an episode off and go to the next day, blah blah blah. It's a thing that a lot of people do with this game. So tomorrow, or next day on Pikmin, we're going to be heading into the Forest of Hope and seeing what we can find there. See you guys next time.